Hi everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome to Roll Initiative. And today I'm going to be talking a bit about a few different ways that you can try and get your players invested in your D&D campaign. So, let's get started. One of the most surefire ways to get your players invested in your campaign is to put stuff in the game that they're going to be interested in. If they're interested in a certain theme of game, like if they really like Lord of the Rings, then you can make a sort of Lord of the Rings themed game. Not only just doing medieval fantasy, but you can very much base it off of Lord of the Rings as far as lore or history goes. And you can make games that your players are going to really enjoy because they're themed right around the stuff that they're interested in. And this also goes for other things in the game. If there are some NPCs that your players particularly like, then bring them back. Have them as reoccurring NPCs. That way, your players get to see them more and really appreciate the NPCs that they like. They are going to be much more interested in social interactions if it's with characters that they actually are interested in. Your players probably also care a lot for their characters because it's the one part of the game that is really theirs, and they most likely put a fair bit of effort into making them. So, if you can include their characters more into the story, then that's likely going to make them more invested because it'll have more to do with their characters. If they're really into doing their character backstory, then add their backstory in, connect it to the plot or side plots, and just add their backstory in so they get to see characters from their backstory, or maybe they can find an item that they or someone else from their backstory had. Just finding ways to include their backstory into the game will make those players really happy. And if your players aren't big on backstories, then you can find other ways to bring their characters in, such as letting them do the stuff that they really enjoy. If you have a rogue who's always stealing from NPCs, then maybe try doing some sort of little side quest where they have to rob a bandit camp. Doing stuff like that particularly targets your players' interests and their characters' interests. Doing stuff like this is going to make your players feel really happy because you've noticed the stuff that they enjoy and you're putting it into the game. The best way to figure out how you can get your players more invested in your game is to ask them. Ask them what sort of things they're interested in. Ask them what sort of games they like. What sort of things they like doing with their characters. Do they like side quests? Do they like social interactions and seeing the same NPCs? Do they like meeting new NPCs? Do they like complicated villains or just more typical black and white? What sort of theme do they like? Do they like more lighthearted and funny or darker and more serious? Just talking to your players about all this sort of stuff, what sort of games they like, what they like doing in game, what their characters like doing in game. All of that sort of stuff can really give you some massive things to focus on to get your players more invested. Just talk to them about the sort of stuff that they want and then put it in the game for them. Then they'll have more than just their characters that feels like it's theirs in game, because there's going to be certain aspects of the game that they feel like you've put there for them. But there we go, that's the end of this video, and I really hope it was helpful and that you enjoyed it. And if you did, then I'd be really grateful if you'd consider giving it a like or even subscribing to my channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.